Hi everyone, my name is Scott and I am a runner. Welcome to the Run Scotty Run YouTube channel. In this video I wanted to talk to you, give you an update at day 10 of my Relentless 100 challenge. This is the second video in this series. I'll have a link to the first one down below where I explain in a bit more detail how I came upon this challenge and decided to commit to it, and essentially what I'm doing. But I'll just run over that just quickly here at the start. So I got inspired to do this challenge by a friend of mine, Tony Reyes, Focus Fight Finish on Instagram and YouTube. I'll have a link down to Tony's YouTube channel down below. He has some incredible videos. I didn't mention it last time. If you're looking for a really inspirational story, he shot a video called Obese to Marathon, where he went from being 406 pounds to running a marathon. It's a very inspiring and motivational video. So please go check that out. So essentially Tony had set this 100-day challenge that he called the Relentless 100, and I decided to take it on and make it my own, or do my own version of it. So essentially, my Relentless 100 is it's 100 days long. I am going to run on a daily basis. I'm going to run every day for a minimum of 7 kilometers. I'm going to do a minimum of 60 push-ups with the goal of being able to do 60 non-stop by the 100th day, because I'm 60 years old, and also read 10 pages from a book, pardon me, not a novel, but something educational or something that's going to motivate me, make me think outside the box, kind of thing, on a weekly basis. And I should say that on the 100th day, my final goal is to run a marathon. It's going to be a solo marathon on the 100th day, and I'm calling it the Relentless 100 Marathon. I think it's very appropriate. I've already discussed that with Tony, and he thinks it's a pretty awesome thing. Now, on a weekly basis, I'm doing 3 strength workouts and also 3 yoga workouts. Now, I may, as my mileage builds up in preparation for the marathon, I may increase the number of yoga workouts. I'll link down below to the YouTube videos where I found the main yoga session that I do from Yoga with Adrian, and my strength training, which is from Fergus Crawley, a hybrid athlete and coach from the UK. Anyway, so that was probably more of a longer intro than I wanted, but if you want more details, please go back to my first video. All right, so I wanted to run over sort of physically and mentally how I'm feeling so far now that I'm at the 10-day point. Physically, I'm actually I'm feeling pretty good. I do have some notes here in front of me, so I'll be looking down at those. Kind of day 3 through 5. Pardon me, I was feeling a little bit sore. Because of the addition of the weight training and the yoga, as my old muscles got worked in ways that they hadn't been worked in a while, and or stretched with the yoga. So it mostly hit me in my hamstrings, but nothing that it was probably just a function of delayed onset muscle soreness. But by day 6 and 7, that was mostly gone, and right now I'm not feeling any sort of aggravation in my legs. I will say this: day 8, so this past Monday, I woke up and my legs were feeling pretty heavy, but it was the roads here were quite frosty and slippery. So I chose not to run outside and run on the treadmill. So I didn't get to run as far as I wanted to that day, but it was probably a bit of a blessing. So my treadmill, it's a new treadmill. It's a True M50. And what I did was I set it up. There's a function on it called heart rate cruise. So it allows you to, once you get to sort of the heart rate where you want to lock in, you just press this button and then the machine adjusts, inclination, speed. So I locked it in, my heart rate in probably around the middle of my zone 2, which for me is, I think around 108, 106, 108 beats per minute. I'm not sure anyway. It's pretty low because of my age and the way that, I tend to train sort of using the Maffetone, low heart rate type training. Anyway, so it was a bit of a slow run, but at the end of it, I actually felt my legs and just my general well-being. I felt actually quite refreshed even after running 5 miles. I think it just kind of worked whatever was in my muscles, and allowed me to get my heart pumping and work up a good sweat, but it wasn't too hard. So that was a really good thing, and I will keep that, as we keep trucking along for the next 90 days. I will keep that in my toolbox. If I do have a day where I wake up and I'm feeling really cement legs or whatever, just maybe to just take a nice easy run on the treadmill and work that through. So, okay, talked about that. So I'm already starting to feel, in my running, I was really focusing on it, paying attention to it today. I'm really starting to feel the positive effects of the regular yoga and the strength training, even though it's only been, today was like my 5th strength training or 5th yoga session, I guess. And I've done four strength sessions. Yeah, 4 strength sessions. But pardon me. I am noticing the difference, and primarily sort of, my hips. I'm feeling a lot more, well, not a lot more, but I'm feeling more strength and mobility already in my hips and the rest of my legs. Like I felt today, like I was just, really cruising along. I was able to hold like a really good, steady pace, not fast by any means, but a good steady pace. And it just felt really, really comfortable the whole way through, or more comfortable than it has been, say, 2-3 weeks ago running at the same pace per kilometer. I'm also finding now that I've run 10 straight days in a row. And I found this before when I've done run streaks. As I mentioned in the first video, I did at the start of the pandemic, so almost 2 years ago, I did a streak that lasted 103 days. And also just this past fall, the fall of 2021, I did a streak that lasted 63 days. One of the things that I find happens with me is, as when I do these run streaks, when I'm running like every single day, day after day, and for me, the reason that I pick 7 kilometers is, at my regular plodding pace, it takes me anywhere between 55 minutes to an hour to run 7K. So, I figure if I can't carve out an hour to show up for myself in my running shoes, that's sort of why I picked that. And, by doing that every single day, I find my body just kind of falls, as I'm running. I without even thinking about it too hard, my body is just becoming more efficient, because I guess, and I don't know, but maybe it's because, my brain and my body are going, okay, what's this silly fool doing to us? We better do this as efficiently and as well as possible if we're going to get through this. So that's helped. So yeah, and like I said, my body's getting adjusted, and as we go forward, that should only get better. Okay, from a mental standpoint, overall doing really, really well. I would say kind of the honeymoon phase, I guess, is over. Like the first maybe 7 or 8 days, I was just super stoked. I couldn't wait to do everything, and not that my commitment or anything else has fallen off, but I'm kind of taking every day one day at a time, trying to stay present and just kind of settling in and and just getting it done. I've been reading, as I mentioned in the first video, I was actually started to read this book, and I know the writing for some reason is going to show up backwards, but This is Atomic Habits by James Clear. That just says here, tiny changes, remarkable results. I'd actually started reading this just before I started the challenge, and this has been actually an instrumental book in helping me to incorporate all these additional little things, like obviously reading 10 pages a day, doing 60 push-ups. I've now increased that now to doing 75 push-ups, because if I'm going to do 60 at once, I just need to build up that muscular endurance, I think, by increasing the volume. But this has been really, really instrumental, I think, in helping me. So what I do, like normally, I try to knock out as much stuff as I can in the morning. So I'm just, without going too far in depth, because I will do a review on this book. But normally for me in the morning, I would get my morning coffee, scroll on Instagram, maybe, watch some YouTube videos from different runners that I follow. But now what I do is when I get my coffee, I sit down, and the first thing that I do is I read, before I even look at social media or YouTube, is I read my 10 pages. And it's kind of using, one of his tools that he talks about in there, sort of connecting, something that I need to do with something that I want to do. And that's worked out really, really well. And it's also, kind of, because I'm reading a book that's not, like a novel or something, it's kind of getting that, in addition to the strong black coffee, is getting my brain sort of spooled up a little faster and getting me thinking. So that's worked out really well. Also with the push-ups, right now I'm doing, since I just upped the number to 75, I'll do sort of 3 sets of 25. Now on the days that I do strength training, the push-ups are in my strength training. On the other days, normally I come downstairs, I feed my dog. So while coffee's getting ready, I'll pump out 25 push-ups. And then, after coffee, I'll maybe pump out another 25. And then probably after my run, I'll do the other 25. And then, normally on my yoga. But like I said, if I'm doing strength training, I end up doing all the push-ups in my strength training routine. So those are kind of things that I've, and by getting it out of the way, for me anyway, I'm lucky enough to be retired. I don't have a job to go to other than being a house husband, so that helps out a lot. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about balance, because I'm obviously, like I said before, I'm sort of in that groove, in that routine right now, where I'm just kind of taking it one day at a time. I'm not thinking like, oh my gosh, I've got 90 days left in this challenge. I'm taking it one day at a time. But also, there are times when I do think ahead, and because what I'm going to do today, because it is such a long challenge over a period of time, I have to remember that things I'm going to do today, like if I get out, I'm feeling feeling my oats, I'm feeling really, really good. I don't want to go out and necessarily hammer a run or beat myself up in the weight room, or in my little garage gym, or take it super deep on some of the stretches in yoga, because I still have many more days to go. So yeah, so that's pardon me, I'm sorry. So that's something that I'm working through right now, but it's going really, really well. And because I had the benefit of doing some long run streaks in the past, that's really, really helping me a lot. One of the things, and I heard this statement watching the Bear Performance podcast, when they had Jeff Cunningham, who's a running coach from Austin, Texas, and he's worked with Nick Bear and a lot of other runners. And I just want to read it to you here. It's more important to be consistently good rather than occasionally great. And that, when I think about that, that kind of really ties in with this challenge that I want to do. Like I want to be consistently good. I want to, I want to make sure that I'm doing my running and I'm doing my exercise, my strength training and my yoga. I'm doing it well because I don't want to be just going through the motions, and my push-ups and my reading. I want to make sure that I'm taking stuff on board and I'm progressing as we go along. Without hammering myself or with just doing, garbage miles or going through the motions for the sake of going through the motions. My intent is hopefully to be great, release the beast on day 100 when I run the marathon. But up until then, it's a function of letting the beast go a little bit when I need to on those days where, maybe I'm feeling a bit mentally challenged or I'm feeling a bit fatigued, to have to say, okay, dude, you signed up for this. Now go get it done. Show up for yourself. Consistency compounds and you committed to it. So just, go out there and get it done. But then on other days when I'm feeling really good, I'm 60-year-old body sometimes who thinks he's 30. Well, believe me, I've made the mistake many times to just remember, okay, you gotta rein it in a little bit here. Don't go full afterburner and then run the tank dry and then wake up the next day and, not be able to get out of bed, so to speak. So anyway, so on the note of the marathon, the Relentless 100 marathon, it's going to be happening 90 days from today. So as now that I've had 10 days for my body to adapt to this challenge, I'm going to be starting, probably this weekend, in the next few days and this weekend, adding on my long runs, cranking up my longer runs in preparation for that marathon. So I have, just shy of 13 weeks, I guess. 13 weeks would be 91 days, so 90 days. So I'm excited about that. And that's, as I already mentioned, as I start adding in those extra long runs and those miles, it's going to take its toll on my body. So I'll probably add in maybe an extra yoga session, just to keep my muscles limber. I find that is been one of the greatest tools as I grow older, is to do some yoga, and really, it helps with my breathing, my frame of mind, and really helps me, get the stretching done when maybe I might not do it on my own if I wasn't sitting there watching a video and having someone tell me what to do. So also I probably start adding in a couple of Epsom salts baths maybe during the week, because I find those really, really help me with recovery. So just wrapping up, as a bit of a side note, one of the other spin-off benefits is that, I'm really focusing more, not that I'm following any sort of specific nutrition plan or anything like that, but I am focusing more on my hydration, making sure I get my water in, and when I get my water in, because, 60-year-old, if I drink, if I think, oh gosh, I need to get hydrated for tomorrow's run, and I drink 2 liters of water at 6 o'clock at night, I'm going to be up half a dozen times, probably having to go to the bathroom. So I'm hydrating better. I'm also, eating, paying more attention to the fuel that I put in my body, because, as my body adapts every day to the tasks that I'm putting it under, it becomes far more responsive to what I feed it. So, making sure that I feed it enough and of, the right quality stuff. So that's another good spin-off. I'm not, my intention here is not to lose any weight, or anything like that, but just to fuel myself, to make sure that, I when I toe that line at the Relentless 100 solo marathon, that I crush that thing and get to the end. All right, so there's the day 10 update of my Relentless 100 challenge. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you want to follow along, I'll probably try and do an update, sort of every 10 days, let you know how things are going. I've already had a couple of people on Instagram indicate a bit of an interest. So, you know, maybe if you want to set your own challenge, it doesn't necessarily have to be a 100-day challenge. Maybe this will help give you some ideas. So thanks so much for watching. Remember that no matter how old you are, how big you are, how far you run, or how fast you run, if you run, you're a runner. So I wish you all the best in your running adventures, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.